It's always better to do it traditionally in a Vedic way, but of course, ultimately, preaching is the essence. In case we do need to make some adjustments, we shouldn't be so finicky about it. If it helps preaching, okay, so that we can do that. But in general, where there is no need to have a buffet type of system, it's always better to have people sitting down in one place. There are so many rules for prasadam distribution actually. There's so much etiquette involved. And many times our devotees don't know these things. We do many things during prasadam serving, during honoring prasadam and so on. So it's better to do that, so it brings about a certain culture. Everything in the Vedic culture was just that, culture. Every act, every different, let's say, element of our daily lives exhibited or displayed that culture. Whether it's receiving guests, or whether it is distributing and honoring prasadam, all these things have certain etiquette about them. So it's always better that when you do that, you sit in the traditional way and the devotees are serving out. It brings about that culture slowly amongst people, that yes, we have to serve. So it's always better, but I'll qualify that statement for saying that where there is a need for preaching, if it's felt necessary, if there's no other way, if it's just not practical, then all right. We can have the Western buffet system. Another practical problem that we've seen now, it may seem to be very petty, but actually it's important, is that nowadays people's bodies aren't so strong. And even young brahmacharis in the serving, they end up with backaches. And in Vrindavan we had this problem a lot. And I was trying to figure out how to get over this problem. Because you have to carry these heavy buckets, and there are long lines, and you're bending all the time from the beginning of the line to the end of the line. And you've got to keep doing it all through. For one batch, second batch, third batch, and by the time you're through, you're carrying all those heavy weights. So these are some practical issues, and in Mayapur I think they devised a good system. Of course they have a cement floor, so it's easy. You have rollers, buckets and rollers, and move them along. So there are some of our more innovative devotees can devise some means where all these practical issues don't happen, problems don't happen. But just the culture of it, just devotees sitting together nicely, it's very nice. We should try to encourage that as far as possible. That's a personal opinion. Yes, yes, go ahead.
We have the mic. Just wanted to point out that there's often a close, maybe subtle connection between our interpersonal problems and sex desire. Maybe the connection is often subtle, but I think we all are aware that in the material world there's a lot of rivalry between in the male communities, simply over who's going to have the women. And I feel that this is also, in a subtle way, often reflected in brahmachari ashrams. I just wanted to tell one little story. It's not from brahmachari ashram. It's from, but it's just very, it's just a good example of how that is so. It was two actually Danish polar, what are they called, excavators. They were in Greenland together, just the two of them, and up there in the very north. And they had to stay together, spend the winter together, just the two of them, in a small hut. And just having to kill time somehow or another. So one of them happened to have a picture with him of some girls from a school or something, just a group picture of some young girls. And well, they were looking at that picture and discussing, oh, this one looks very nice, and so on. And I would like that one, and the other one, yes, I would like the other one. And anyway, one of them, there was one girl on the picture, and he liked that. He decided, she's for me. Anyway, it's just on the picture. And but then at one point the other one decided, no, I want that girl. It's just on the picture, just in the mind. So anyway, over this issue they became so much, they developed a great big disagreement to such a degree that they ended up not wanting to speak to each other. And this went on for some time, and you can imagine you're in a situation like that, and the only person who's around you, they didn't speak for, I think, for weeks. And anyway, at one point it became too much for one of them, and he said, anyway, you can have that girl. just become good again, and it's too much. Whatever it takes, let us be friends again. So anyway, just to look at that.
Comment about how brahmachari should be careful with that.
How that actually, at least a very important thing if we want to improve our relationship among the brahmacharis, that we have to also endeavor to, we have to see the relation there, that the more we become free from material desire, specifically sex desire, that will also help a lot to improve our relationship with the other brahmacharis.
Yes, certainly. In any brahmachari ashram, there should never be any discussion about marriages, for sure. I remember many years ago visiting one ashram in India. Of course, things have changed a lot in that ashram since then. And I decided never to go back to that temple again, because the brahmacharis are doing exactly what you were saying. And they were speaking the language that they thought I didn't understand, but I understood every word what they were saying. But sometimes it happens because there's a lack of spiritual leadership. There's a lack of Krishna conscious leaders, brahmacharis, who are there to guide the brahmacharis and create a spiritual atmosphere. So it's very important that in brahmachari ashram such a nice atmosphere of Krishna conscious bonding exists, that there is no need to ever talk about such subjects even. And anyway, the Western countries, everywhere the situation outside is so bad that it's important for the brahmacharis to really be together in the ashram. Very, very important. Any other questions?